Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the show, Control or Be Controlled, podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Today, we have a very special guest in our midst today. Today's guest is David Wissin.
Darlington, it's great to be here.
All right, David. So, David is a performance marketing executive with more than 20 years of experience leading demand generation, account-based marketing, and performance marketing programs for SA, software as a service, enterprise software, and digital experience brands. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, David. So tell us about your journey into performance marketing and what led you to specialize in demand generation and ABM.
I started a long time ago working for a startup, and we had a client that wanted a website, which I built the website. And their question was, well, how do people find us? Which got me into SEO, which at the and I realized I enjoyed the data and the SEO part way more than I did the web design piece. So then over my career, it's just been a focus of building up on those SEO skills, learning paid media, learning social media, and moving into demand gen for companies, whether it's working as an agency as I am now, or my previous job where I was working inside a B2B software company. So, it's just been a steady progression as developing skills over time.
Right. So search is changing rapidly. What is the difference between SEO, AEO, and GEO?
Good question. So acronyms. So SEO equals search engine optimization. AEO is answer engine optimization, and GEO is generative engine optimization. I think we within the industry like them, but there's an awful lot of crossover between them. So SEO is traditionally is all about letting Google sort of crawl the pages on your website, add them to their index, and then rank that content. Right? That's been SEO. And what's evolved over the last 12 to 18 months is this answer engine optimization, the AEO and the GEO, which means can ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, can they also find the content that's on my website? And when someone asks a question within the large language model, so instead of thinking in the old days it used to be keywords, and now we're talking about prompts, right? That's the AEO answer engine optimization. It is, am I showing up as the answer within that? And I think the big difference between them is with Google, you used to be, if you're on page one on Google, you'd be one of 10 links, right? The user had one of 10 options organically that they could click through to get the answer to what they were searching for. With the large language models, they are typically just giving you the answer, right? They might give you one, two, or three options around, these are the best companies around this, but that discoverability that was there under SEO is not there anymore under AI. The AI is giving you the answer, and that's the big difference between the two. With SEO, there's a lot more being found, and with AEO, it's trying to make sure that you are part of that answer that that ChatGPT predominantly is given to users.
All right. Thank you so much, David. So, what AI tools do you believe every business or marketing team should be paying attention to today?
I think that depends on where you are within the marketing department. Right. So I think at the sort of there's a foundational tools, right? We should be using the large language models. You should be using Claude. You should be using ChatGPT, and you should be using Gemini, right? They are part of your toolkit. but sort of what you layer on top of that depends on where you are. If you know, if you're in the sales piece, if you're in the creative piece, and maybe you're using VO, you're using Nana Banana, right? You're using 11 Labs, or some of those tools that's out there for that. If you're on the pure marketing piece, there's some writing tools that you can layer on top of that. But I think at the end of the day, everything starts with you should have subscriptions to the models. There should be paid subscriptions because they're going to perform so much better than the free ones. And then where you fit in the marketing department, I think that dictates what sort of tools you layer on top of the LLMs.
Right. So, where have you seen AI create the biggest improvement in marketing efficiency and performance?
Where have I seen the greatest improvement?
Yeah, sure.
Um, it's our ability to do things that we couldn't do before at scale. So, for example, it could be looking at a large data file that has 10,000 lines of data in it, and now you can use the AI to ask questions and about what's in that data file and get insights out of it that would have taken you hours before, playing around with pivot tables, trying to find numbers, and trying to connect. So I think there's the one-off pieces. There's like, and here's a big data set. Can I do this? And I'm writing content, and can the AI help me with things like that? But then I think the big leverage that we find is, do you have repeatable tasks that the AI can help you with on an ongoing basis? So if you're in demand gen, for example, and you're producing content that's going on your website, right? Using the AI on a daily basis to give you a report on how well those content is performing from a website standpoint. You tie it to your CRM so you can see, this page got this many views and that turned into this many leads, and this is where they are. Like the AI can sit there and pull all of this together for you and give you a report. There's not just a static report that you can ask a follow-up question to and get answers. So I think that the big win from a marketing standpoint is looking at what your process is and finding out where in that process can you use AI for automation.
Okay, so how is account-based marketing evolving with the rise of AI and predictive analysis?
The challenge with account-based marketing is people are getting hit with so many messages across all of the platforms that they're on. So from a marketing standpoint, it's you're trying to cut through that and make your message that you have a little more personal to the individual. So AI can help with a little bit with the creative that you're doing, with the if somebody clicks through and downloads a white paper or gets onto your email list from an ABM standpoint, you can personalize what that output, that drip campaign is going to be based on their industry. So that can be really helpful as you have all of these touch points and you're trying to figure out, you know, what was it that drove this lead? Like, what were those touch points? Was it a programmatic ad? Did they see me on Reddit? Did they see me on Google? Was it something from YouTube? Using the AI then to pull all of those data sources and help with attribution is really useful, because that then allows you to understand which components within your marketing campaign are working, and then to sort of invest more in them. So you can take all of this data, which was really difficult to do before because it was manual. And so you couldn't update it that on a regular basis. But now with AI, you can update and you can pull in this data and you can adjust your campaign much more frequently based on true data signals versus just best guesses.
All right, so if a small business owner wanted to start using AI today, what would be the first three tools or strategies you do recommend?
I think the two parts of it would be one, understanding what is it that you're trying to get out of the AI. Like what if you're going to start using AI in your business, what is it that you're trying to do? Are you just trying to test it and see what it's like? Are you trying to use it to do social media content, website content, email marketing? So have a clear understanding about what I want this tool to do and how am I going to measure how successful it is, right? If you walk yourself through those two things, then that next step is you're probably going to use Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, right? Those are the three big um, global LLMs at the moment. So you're going to use one of those. But in order for it to be successful, you have to, as I said, figure out why am I using this? Like, what do I want it to accomplish, and how am I going to measure success?
All right. So, what is one prediction about AI and marketing that you believe most people are underestimating?
I think people don't understand how much it is going to change over the next 18 months. That, I keep telling my team the AI you are using today is the worst version of AI you will ever use in your lifetime. It will only get better. So, being able to look and think about what is AI going to be like in 6, 12, and 18 months. Because if you go back just in November to today, like how much AI has improved over the last 6 months, and how much Claude has changed how we use AI in the last 6 months. Well, think about what that change would look like in another 6, 12, and 18 months. And so I think that people are underestimating. They look at the AI today, they take a free account, and they look at it and they say, it hallucinated and gave me something that wasn't quite accurate. Yes, that still happens. But look at sort of what it can do, and then start to think about if this really improves at the rate it is going, where's this going to be in 6, 12, and 18 months? And I think people are underestimating how good the AI will be from a marketing standpoint in 18 months' time than where it is today.
All right. So, what exciting projects are you currently working on at Zosimus?
And so, what kind of projects?
What exciting projects are you currently working on at Zosimus?
We have a And so at Zosmus, we work across multiple industries. So my job is I oversee all of our digital marketing efforts. So that's paid media, SEO, and AEO, social media, data, and analytics. So the interesting thing and exciting thing about an agency is that we don't work on the same industry all the time. So, we have clients across a wide variety of industries. So, you look at it and it's like, geez, we have a client that's launching a big digital out of home campaign in the seaport in Boston. In after September, so we're working through that. We have other clients working on TV and connected TV, and sort of how's that going to play in today's digital world. So the interesting thing about working from an agency is that we get to work on these different projects, and which is fun and exciting.
All right. Thank you so much, David. So, here is my final question for you. Is there one question you wish I would have asked you that I did not ask you?
It's my favorite question that I always ask in interviews. So it's refreshing to actually get it asked back to me. I think you asked the all the good ones. I think I would just sort of reiterate on the one of the last ones that you asked about, sort of what are people underestimating about AI, and it is that they don't see where it is going. They just look at it today, they look at it in a free account, and it's like I ask it a question and I get an answer. It writes a generic blog post, and they don't realize that in 12, 18 months, this AI with agents is going to be taking over a full marketing department, and you'll be able to run a full marketing department from your computer. And I don't think people fully comprehend yet what that means.
All right, thank you so much, David. So, if listeners take away one message from today's conversation, what would you want it to be?
All of this talk about AI, we are still really, really early in the AI. Whether you use a baseball analogy and we're in the first inning, whether it's the World Cup going on at the moment, right? So you're before that first hydration break. I mean, it's still early in the game. So for people who haven't got on board with AI yet, um, they don't have to feel like they're left behind. There is still time for them to get on board, to learn it, and to pick up the skills because over the next 6, 12, and 18 months, and people who have AI skills will become much more in demand in the labor force than those who don't.
All right, so thank you so much, David. So, how can listeners connect with you and learn more about what you do?
Probably the easiest way is through email. So dwilson, WILSON, at zozimus.com, that's ZOZIMUS.com.
All right, David, thank you so much once again for coming to my show.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
for providing your wisdom and your perspective to my audience.
Okay.
All right, have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.